To warm up, because I know people are still popping in, what I want to do is a little survey. I want to find out a little bit more about you. So go ahead and put this in the chat. Are you a brand new speaker? So what I mean by that, you've done maybe a couple of speaking engagements, you've put yourself out there, you're kind of new at it, you just want to polish, you want to get more confidence, and I'm hearing from people. How many of you are out there speaking? You're speaking on a pretty regular basis, but you know that you need polish. You're not necessarily doing the ums and you knows. You feel pretty good about that, but you know there's some pieces that are missing. Now, are you somebody, and I already met a couple of you today already, that you've written your books, they're ready to go, but you haven't gotten paid. You might be getting paid for your books, but you haven't become a paid speaker yet, and you're ready. Give me a hands up and a thumbs up if you're ready to be a paid speaker. How many of you have a business? You're an entrepreneur, or I met somebody earlier who's working for a university. You're wanting to sell yourself. Maybe it's your inspirational message, or are you selling services? Are you selling a product? Are you selling a seminar? Are you selling a course? Are you selling essential oils? Put in the chat, what are you selling? That you need to know, how do you quietly do that? Quietly throughout what we call is a signature talk. And here's my last question for the moment. Think about this. For some of you, you feel pretty good at speaking. And you know, when you're on, you feel good, you feel connected. I feel connected to all of you. I hear that, I see the hands up and you're participating. You feel good, they're laughing at your jokes. You know you're giving them good information. And at the end of your talk, whether it's virtual, whether you're in person, they clap, they applaud for you, you feel so good. And then all of a sudden, after the hoopla, you realize, oh my goodness, they didn't buy my service. They didn't buy my book, they didn't buy my product. How many of you have had that happen? And then there's just crickets. The purpose of our chat today, the purpose is to create a speech that sells you, your services, your products, your message, so that you can make an impact. You can make a difference with your audience and with the people that you are selling to. So today is going to be about teaching you how to set the stage and how to create a talk, how to give the information, give the nuggets, and to give an offer at the end. Many of us don't know how to give an offer at the end. Many of us are uncomfortable giving an offer. And the offer can just be an inspirational message, a call to action, a challenge. So those are some of the nuggets that we're going to be working on today. Now, how are we going to do that? We only have an hour together. I'm going to be sharing with you my 10 top secrets that I see even my polished presenters come to me and they're not doing. I'm going to give you a little bit about me and my background and why am I up here today speaking to all of you. First of all, I have been in the speaking business for over 25 years. I've traveled the world internationally as a speaker. I'm a certified seminar leader. And I have a background in psychology. I have a master's in psychology. Speaking, there's so much psychology in how to create a talk. I will know and I will be happy if today, out of my 10 secrets, 1 or 2, I guarantee you, even if you're being a paid speaker right now, you're going to learn some new tools and some new ways to put your talk together. I work a lot with people who are on the home shopping show, QVC, not to be salesy, but there's a secret in how to quietly sell yourself throughout a talk so people want more. They want to buy the book. They want to buy your course. They want to sign up. How do we create that credibility? And how do we create that likability? Now, you'll also see, for some of you, who are my California gals, I lived in Los Angeles for 20 years. I am in Erie, Pennsylvania now with a lot of snow. But that's where I got a lot of my speaking training. and my acting background. So in case you see there's a little bit of a frustrated actress in me, and I don't want you to worry about that. Don't think, oh, geez, I don't want to be as over the top as Heidi. This is part of the fun that I have. It's not good. I work with financial advisors. I work with corporate America. It doesn't matter what kind of speaking you're going to do. The methods that I'm going to coach you on, because it's coaching, this is going to be interactive. I'm going to want questions from all of you and maybe to coach some of you live. Any kind of talk that you're doing, this is about polishing you. Now, when I was surveying several of you at the beginning, I heard, ooh, I know I need to be doing speaking, but I get nervous. Who gets nervous? Go ahead and put in the chat. Who gets nervous? Who knows you have a message? Who knows you have the material, but you get scared? You're not alone. And I'll tell you quickly my story about being scared. I was not born a speaker. That's why I love helping my scared, and I say introverts. Any introverts out there? My hand is up. I call myself a recovering introvert. I was so shy growing up. I have a little speaker prop here. I lived in Syracuse, New York, and it was winter time and cold all the time, living in the country. And my mother would drive me to the bus stop. And this is when I was a young teen, 11, 12, 13. And every day she would drive me to the bus stop. And at the bus stop, there was a boy there. His name, I'll never forget, Ben Beck. Ben Beck and I stood next to each other at the bus stop for 3 years, and we never said hello. We just stood there looking straight ahead. And every day, my mother, now remember, I'm very seasoned. I've been doing this a long time. So a dollar bill at the time meant a lot. Every morning, my mother would say, Heidi, I'll give you $1, if you just say, hello, Ben. I could never do it. I was the one that then when I moved to Los Angeles, I would go to women's networking events. I would hide in the ladies' room until it was time for the speaker to come on. So I'm here to let you know that this is a learned skill, but we can stay in our introverted selves or we can move forward. The last story I want to share with you is when I was working in Los Angeles for a company. It was a hospital, because remember, I was in the psychology world. I was marketing for the hospital. Like we have Craig here that's marketing for a university. And they said, do a speaking engagement. I don't know what that means. All I mean is speaking. Okay, I'll stand up and I'll read my notes, right? And that's what I did. Here are the services at this hospital, read my notes. I think that's public speaking. I had a woman afterwards jump out of the audience and come up to me. And she wagged her finger at me and she said, how dare you waste our time? I was petrified. I was in my late 20s at the time. I'm like, what? She goes, go to Toastmasters, learn how to speak. You're wasting our time just reading notes. Basically, I was booed off stage. You know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. After I got through the tears, I said to myself, you know what? How can I make a difference? I am not polished. I hired a coach. I started taking lessons. I practiced. I did a lot of freebies. So I want you all to know you're in the right place and you are brave and you are courageous. So once again, give yourselves a round of applause for being here, because there's a whispering, because this is not normal to want to be in a speech class. Most people run and hide. So even if you're scared, there's a whispering inside of you that says, I want more. You're here. And my job as a recovering introvert is to give you the most tools I can in an hour to help you to feel that comfortability, that credibility, and most importantly, that confidence. Okay? So how does that sound? Are we ready to move on?
I had a question from somebody.
Yes.
Sonia, she said, let's see here. How do I seamlessly sell myself beyond an exchange of introductions especially when the other person doesn't immediately seem to meet a need.
So read the question to me again.
Okay. She said, how do I seamlessly sell myself beyond an exchange of introductions, especially when the other person doesn't immediately seem to meet a need?
So if I'm understanding you right, that's what this whole talk, I'm going to start right now with step one, because I'm going to teach you all throughout a talk. That's what today is about. Today's giving you structure. Okay, I'm going to be offering at the end of today ongoing courses if you want to get into the meat of every little bit of creating a talk. But today, I'm going to teach you from step one right now how to sell yourself. Don't rely on anybody else to sell for you. Don't rely on the introduction people. So right now, these are my secret weapons. So see if this answers your question, Sonia, and we'll circle back to you. So step one, my secret weapon. You start out your presentation with questions. Here's the biggest issue that I see even with my polished speakers at first. Now, we're going to go psychology here, so stay with me for a moment. When you get up there, even if it's virtual or in front of an audience, the audience isn't with you. They're checking you out. They're deciding, do I like her? Do I like him? How old is she? Is this going to be boring? Is this worth my time? What's for dinner tonight? Right? I mean, they're not with you. They're making judgments about you, not good or bad, right or wrong. They're not with you. Here's what I see most people do when they start their talk, which tells me they're not polished. They start with their bio and they go on and on and on, or they go right into the meat of the talk. So here's the definition of networking. The audience is not warmed up to you. You need to warm up the audience first. And the most powerful way to do that are questions, because it's interactive. Now, based on what Sonia said, though, the questions need to be on point. From step one, I'm selling my services. And how do I do that? Ask questions. I hope you have some notes, no paper here, that go along with the pain of what you're selling. Your audience is in pain. And when I say pain, is it the pain of not having enough confidence, not being able to be a good speaker, being stressed out, not knowing what college they should go to, the pain of not having enough time, not having enough money, not having enough energy, not having enough love? What is your audience's pain? So go ahead and put that in the chat. Let's get some conversations going. What's your audience's pain? So here's what we're going to do too, a little exercise. I want you to write down the questions out the gate that you can ask your audience. Do not make it about you, make it about them. Another layer of psychology, when they hear these questions from step one, they're going to realize, ooh, she gets me. Oh, he understands my pain. I already did it with all of you. So in the beginning, step one, just like I did with all of you. How many of you are new to speaking? You raise your hands. You might be a client. You might be interested in my upcoming seminar. How many of you are not getting paid yet? I could help with that. You said yes. How many of you feel like you're pretty good, but you don't know how to sell your services? I could help with that. You from step one said, I need more. I need help. Do you see that? Does that make sense to you? So you want to start with questions. So who's in my audience right now? Are you a health coach? You might say in your questions, we've got an audience in front of us. You might say, how many of you vow to lose weight this New Year's? How many of you want to get healthier? How many of you are ready to start exercising? Do a survey. You know, again, we've had several people in here who are authors. How many of you have had a challenging time? How many of you feel like you need some tips on how to overcome obstacles in your life? Ask questions right from the get-go. So I model what I do. right from the beginning. And if you didn't see the beginning, and I have this recorded, I set the stage when it was showtime by saying, okay, we're going to start with a couple of questions. I want to find out a survey to find out more about you, more about you. Make it about the audience. You've got to connect to the audience first. Do not just rattle information off. Okay, so Sophia, is anyone putting in the chat about questions?
Yeah, we had a lot that people were asking their audience.
Let me hear some of them.
See here. Kara said, I can help you. What are you doing to attract new customers? That's her question. We had Karen. Do you have dates that are slower and you could use to help filling them? Would you be interested in partnering with a company that can help fill your tours?
Okay, good. I'm going to double dip. Those are great because I want to double dip on those. One, as you see on the PowerPoint here, and trust me, what I'm going to just say and having fun with this, don't get creative on me. The questions work. Start with how many. How many of you? Now, you do a couple of things and raise your hand with me. Now, I'm raising my hand. Even virtually, you can put the little icon hand or even physically raise your hand. There's a couple of things that I'm doing. I'm telling you what to do. I'm going to be giving you nonverbal communication here today. So good. I say that many of you are raising your hand. I'm telling you what to do from right from the beginning. If I'm in sales, you've got to trust me. I believe in what I'm doing. I'm saying raise your hand. Okay, so there's a couple nuggets telling you what to do. Instead of do you, people, that's like a one-word answer. How many of you want to attract more customers? How many of you don't have systems in place to bring in new clients? How many of you would like to retain your new clients? So how many of you is the phrase. Now, the second person, I believe it was Karen. I'm wondering if you're in direct marketing. I just want to give you feedback. I'm going to coach some of you live, so I appreciate the question. We don't want to be too, I call it being too top heavy with the questions. It's like you're peeling away, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on this because it's the first impression. It's the first thing out the gate. And it's, please tell me, this is new for some of you. Write in the comments that you never thought of doing questions before. Okay, there's many ways you can open a talk. In selling yourself, it's the fastest way to connect to the audience. Okay, it's like taking away layers of an onion. If the questions are too big up front, you're going to lose the audience. You're just warming them in. Good, I see Deja shaking her head. So Karen, I'd like you to rework that in the chat because what I'm hearing is it was more of a double dip. Like, how many of you need this? And do you want to start a business opportunity? I know I'm playing with it. I don't remember exactly. It's too much. How many of you would like to make more money? How many of you feel like it's your time to step into the entrepreneurial world? How many of you would like more freedom in your schedule? How many of you are tired of working for a boss? How many of you? Do you see where I'm going? Okay. So anybody else, Sophia, one more before we go on, we can circle back to this, but anybody else are leading in with some of the questions for their opening? That's step one.
I did have a question from Karen, and she said, what if it's just a one-on-one discussion?
Okay, that's a good point. So this is still presenting one-on-one, and I love that. So that's going to be in a little bit of a twist. You can still do it, but we don't want to do it quite so seminar-y-ish. So for example, if you're in front of me one-on-one, Karen, I would say, so, Karen, hi, I'm glad that we got together to meet a little bit. I'd like to start just a little question so I can kind of just better understand where you're coming from and where I might be able to help you. Tell me tell me a little bit about your business. How many clients are you looking for? So you can set it up that way. But I will say that this seminar right now is built more for the audience. Okay, so I hope that helps. But you can switch anything to individuals, but you're not going to quite be so in front of one person. Does that make sense? You're not going to be like, how many of you? How many of you? So to shift gears. Okay, let's go on to step two. Step two is called the purpose. This is a power phrase. After today, start listening to polished speakers. Start listening to interviewers. It's now, I wish I could say I made up the word. It's called the purpose. They use the word the purpose. And I guarantee you probably haven't been using this. How many of you, this is new information, learning about the purpose word? Let me explain. Have you gone to see a seminar leader or a speaker? You're excited about the topic. And the next thing you know, I call it, you're dancing around the mulberry bush. You're like, or they're dancing around. What are they talking about? Where are we going with this? How many of you, raise your hands, you've gotten confused, you're all off point. This is in your opening. Right from step one, you need to set the stage, the purpose. And you see, I said some lead-in phrases. The purpose of this talk today, the purpose of our webinar, the purpose of our workshop, the purpose of our orientation, the purpose of my keynote. We're learning a dance step today. Let's go back. Step one, ask questions. How many of you, how many of you, how many of you were selling from the beginning? They're your clients. They're in pain. Step two, clearly describe why they're there. This takes a little work on your part. Don't wing it. I do not believe in winging it. I'm not a winger because I'm a recovering introvert. Okay, so I take the time. What's the purpose? I already did this with all of you today. The purpose of this talk today is to help you to be a more comfortable and confident speaker by learning my 10 essential steps that need to be in every talk that you conduct. Set the purpose. That's step two. So is that new for anybody, Sophia? Is anybody saying that's a new concept? That's what I want to hear, because I don't hear people using the purpose word.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything quite yet.
Okay, go ahead in the chat and put in your the purpose. Go ahead and fill in the purpose of your hypothetical talk, your new talk, your upcoming talk, the purpose. And then we'll have Sophia run it by me. Okay, good. Are you raising your hand, Thaisha? No, okay. So that's step two is the purpose. We're still just doing the opening here right now, but this is the most important part. Let me even give you a little statistic. Did you know that an audience will make up every decision about you in the first 6 minutes? In the first 6 minutes, psychologically, and it's been proven, they will decide, are you credible? Do they like you? Do they have a personality? Am I going to learn anything? So I am pristine and I am teaching you what that first 6 minutes needs to look like, sound like, feel like, so that you can start off your talk with a bang. Step three. Now, and most of you sort of know this, but you want to let the audience know what you're going to be doing. Are we going to be singing and dancing? Are we going to be doing partner exercises? Are we going to be doing meditation? Are we going to be doing demonstrations? Are we going to be doing writing exercises? Okay, so step three, again, we're formatting the beginning of your talk is where you let them know. I'll be sharing my number one secret. I'm going to be talking about the 5 mistakes that speakers make. I'm going to be sharing with you how to tell success stories. Let them know up front what you're going to be doing. Again, I want to hear from some of you because I know a lot of you haven't done these steps. You've just like, I just need to get to the point. I'm going to repeat. You're the warm-up act. They'll follow you. They'll buy from you if you set the stage correctly. So step three is letting them know the objectives. Okay? And then you can interrupt me, Sophia, if you have any questions, if anyone's piping in.
Yeah, we had a couple people share their purpose.
Let's hear a couple purposes.
Yeah, we have Thaisha. She said, the purpose of our talk here today is to educate you on a harsh topic and share where you can go for help.
Okay, good. Now, and I know Thaisha, she's at EPA. She's one of my, as we call Diva, she's in my networking group and has been a client. So, and I know none of you are going to get your feelings hurt. I want to coach you live. So the only thing with Thaisha, so the end of it though, it didn't set the stage of Is the talk about domestic violence? Is it help about overcoming cancer? I don't know. So I'm glad you brought that up. The purpose statement should have to do with your talk. To keep it simple, it's usually the title of your talk. So to help you if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation, her talk. So they should try that on again. Okay, I can see you, you're in the little galley. Try that on again and see if you can be specific in the purpose. It's still short, it's still sweet, but use the topic. You don't want to be too airy-fairy. Okay, any other purposes?
Yeah, we had John. He said, I want to show you how to limit the movement of your paper documents.
Okay, good. So what I want to hear, so make sure you've got that word, the purpose. I am a stickler. I am a tough teacher. So the purpose of my talk, the purpose of my webinar is to help you move your documents, right? What was the second part of that, Sophia?
Let's see, how to move your, oh, here it is, sorry. How to limit the movement of your paper documents.
Good. How to limit the movement of your paper documents. I'm going to give you, and I've got a lot of tips to give you. Now I want you to use the words so that. I'm giving you all my secrets today. When you say the word so that, it's going to take you into a benefit. Otherwise, to move my documents, why? So that you save time, so that you save money, so that you save energy. So redo that for me as well. And I want the little bell and whistle at the end. Again, this is psychology. This is not teaching you how not to do your ums and your nos. I do teach that as well, but this is about setting the stage and having gone to speaker school, selling myself, my seminars, and other people's books and seminars as well. Speaker school. Okay. So we have number 3. Here's what you'll be sharing, your number 1 secret, client success stories. It's basically your objectives. Now we get juicy. Now you've pulled the bin with step 1, step 2, step 3. I'm sitting on the edge of my chair. Who is this person now? Now you tell them your credibility. Now, not at the top. Even if some of you have people that introduce you in the bio, we forget. We were too busy looking at you. We weren't paying attention. We were getting off their last phone call, right? So this is the time that you share your credibility, because the audience wants to know, who are you to be up there? So toot your horn. And you're not bragging. You have to let them know. You have, for me, a master's in psychology. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've traveled the world internationally. So do you have a degree? Do you have a certificate? Do you have experience? And we can mush some of that together, not to be disingenuous, but you want to share your credibility. Back to the dance steps. How does the transition work? 1, let me ask you some questions. How many of you? How many of you? How many of you? 2, the purpose of the seminar today, the purpose. 3, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. 4, the transition. Let me tell you just a little bit about my background and why I'm a seminar leader. Let me tell you a little bit about my background and how I got into financial planning. Let me tell you a little bit about my background and why I became a health coach. Credibility, credibility, credibility. So let me hear from you in the chat. Go ahead and put in your credibility. This sets the stage for your selling. You're selling yourself, you're selling your credibility. Now, right after the credibility, so like I did, I set the stage. Now we have to go there. Do you know as seminar leaders, and I don't care, I work with insurance, attorneys, doctors, they always fight me on this. They always give me pushback. They're like, I'm not going to be vulnerable with my audience, Heidi. They're there to learn something. We need to connect to you. The best seminar leaders, especially for some of you that want to step into motivational speaking, we want to take our audience on a ride emotionally. Okay, so you need to share your vulnerability. Several of you that right now out the gate that have books. The one gal, Taisha, said that she has a book on overcoming cancer. Obviously, she's going to be telling her story. We have Thasia about domestic violence. You don't have to go that far in. You just might say, how do I keep myself so busy with 5 kids and a husband and, 3 dogs? We need to, one, hear about you. There's people in your audience, the way they're going to connect to you is through the heart. They're thinking it anyway. They want to know, who are you? So we need to tell them. So there's that trust there. Again, the trust, the likability, that's when they buy from you. That's when they trust you. So you can go far. Like for me, I've been booed off stage. Remember I told you my story? 2, I'm shy and introverted. I use a speaker prop, my dollar bill. 3, that woman who, booed me off stage. I was shy. I used to hide in the ladies' room. I wanted you to know that I get it, what it's like to connect to you and not be like, oh, that Heidi, she's up there dramatic and all confident. It wasn't that way. What's your vulnerability? What can you share? Go ahead and put in the chat. Your vulnerability can be as simple as talking about your family. Let us in. We want to know. We're voyeurs. It could be the deeper vulnerability. You became a health coach because you lost 100 pounds or you were diagnosed with diabetes. Or it could just be more your passion. I'm finally stepping into being an organizing consultant because as a child, I loved helping the neighborhood kids. We need your vulnerability. It's an important ingredient. So do we have any vulnerable speakers, Sophia? Is anybody sharing some of their vulnerability or any questions there? And you're muted right now, Sophia. Did you unmute yourself?
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Let's see, we have, Nadine said, I am low on patience. And let's see, Susan said, I let my spouse manage all of our finances. When we got divorced, I was like a deer in the headlights as far as managing my own money.
Good. That's what we want. And we want the juicy story around it, and if you're low on patience, I hope it's not the patience of today, and talk to them. Let us know who you are. Let us know as seminar leaders. Okay. You've got to share your vulnerability. And again, the lead-in, I'm working with a gal right now. And she has her own business. She's written a book. She was afraid to tell the audience that she didn't have a college degree, but it was something that she was carrying. So we went through her credibility, that she's been in business for 20 years. She worked for this company, worked for that. And then she did the dramatic, but I have a secret. I don't have a college degree. And it's okay. And here's how I worked through grit. She had the audience like that. I'm getting just chill bumps, just even repeating it. We want to take our audience on an emotional ride. Is there a little bit of theater involved in this? Yes. You might say, I just want to be conversational. We're going to get into body language and tone. We need to up the ante just an inch. My job as a coach is to help you with your authentic self, but to give it structure. So you're not all over the place. When you're all over the place, the audience can't take in the message. So many of us as audience, we love people. We want to help them and we want to give them everything. That's the other thing that I spend a lot of time with my clients. Too much information, too much information. They're like, they need that. They can't take it all in. They get too full. And when they get too full, they don't buy from you. It all goes hand in hand. Now, we're going to get into a little bit of, it is showtime. I know some of you are cringing like, but we've got to look at our body language. We've got to step into it. Again, as an introvert, I know, and I have a joke when I do it in my living room, because of course we're all at home, I have a mirror. And before I get on my virtual Zooms, before in the old days in person, I just look in the mirror, just like this guy, and it's showtime. We've got to bring the energy up. If we're talking monotone and conversationally, that may be our normal self. The audience will go to sleep. So it's about practicing. Again, in real life, and I'm going to be sharing with some of you, if you're getting this, if you're interested, if you're going to be hungry for more, I'm going to seed right now. That's a selling point. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm pulling back the curtains to let you know that I do have an upcoming course, a 3-week course I'm going to talk to you about, where we even drill down further on these things. See, I just pulled back the curtain, gave you a little seed, and coming back to showtime. This is the psychology. This is the QVC method that I teach and coach people on. Okay, it's showtime. We can hear your body talk. You've got to have the smile, not fake, but everybody smile for me right now. Even if I can't see you, I can feel it. I'm going to give you my 3 go-tos, body language, that I absolutely love. So I want you all to give me your hands. Hands up. Hands up. Here's a question I get all the time. Do I speak with my hands? Do I not speak with my hands? I speak too much with my hands. Let me tell you a little body language secret today. When you show the palms of your hand, you are saying, trust me. This goes back to the old days, and you can Google the story. I never quite say it right, even as a seminar leader, but it's basically like cowboys and Indians. You know, when they would shake hands, it's the reason, and this is the reason for shaking hands where it was created, is are you safe? Do you have a gun or a knife? So body language experts, and I teach this all the time and use it in my seminars. Now we're doing this dramatically right now, I know, but you want to make sure that you are using your hands and show them your hands at different times, even if it's how many of you. Tell me more about that. So what do you guys think about this? You're being vulnerable and open, but psychology-wise, you're saying, trust me. How many of you like this as a new body language technique? Are you enjoying this? I need props here. I'm a seminar leader. I need to hear that you're learning some new ideas. I hope the creativity is percolating. Show me your hands. Very important. Now, and it feels even a little fake on Zoom, because if, say, my hands are open right now, but you can't see me, so you've got to step into it. Show me your hands. That's number 1. Number 2, some of you are going to think this is cheesy, but I'm going to give you even the resource where I got it. So we want to be Wonder Woman or Superman. And what you want to do, even right now while you're sitting, and I don't know, Sophia, if you can see people or take a photo, I need the Wonder Woman pose. I'm not going to make you stand up. So feet on the ground, puff up, as I like to say. As speakers, even when we're virtual, body language, we need to be bigger than life. We can't hide. They're looking at you as the expert. Do you want to sell your book? Do you want to sell your financial services? We need to trust you. I'm not going to trust you if you're walking into a room like this or delivering your information like this. Okay? So we definitely want to be bigger than life. So go ahead and put your hands on your hip. I know it feels a little cheesy, but it feels good though, actually. For those of you, I see Tasia doing that. Good, Sophia. I don't see your Wonder Woman pose. Come on. There you go. So I think you might have to mute yourself. I'm hearing a little background, so maybe that's you.
No, I can take it. Okay. Thank you.
Make sure that's you. So
Thank you.
Okay, I think I got it.
You're muted now, Heidi.
Okay, thank you, Gabriel. Thank you. Okay, am I okay? See, I need my tech people. Thank you. I was just so busy. Good. Now, Gabriel, I can see you perfectly. Why don't you show me how you do the Superman pose then? Ah, see? He did it. I love it. Let's give him a round. I love it. Yay. You know what? Amy Cootie, write this down. I wish I could take credit for it. C-U-D-D-Y. She's a body language expert. She does TED Talks. She's famous. And she teaches how to do this. And I'll do it if I'm nervous before an event of some sort, go into the restroom before your event, and you puff up. You've got to feel it. You've got to feel the energy. This triggers, this is why the therapist part of me, it triggers our stuff about confidence and not feeling good enough. Act as if. Act as if your audience needs the information, okay? So we've got 1, hands up, 2, Wonder Woman or Superman, and the third one I'm gonna give you, I've got a lot more, but the third one I'm gonna give you that I love, and I like to quote people. Now, I'm seasoned, so I know some of the people I'm quoting you may not know, but I hope, and again, now I wanna pick on Gabriel because I can see him in the galley. How many of you have heard of, notice my hands up, how many of you have heard of Tony Robbins? Thank you. So Tony Robbins taught me this. Yes, I lived in Los Angeles, so I was able to work with all the big gurus. Put your hand on your heart. Now, you do this to have people trust you. Now, you don't have to do it. I'm doing it dramatically right now. But he's the one, a man, that said something like, this course is really going to help you to be better. If you need your confidence down, think about investing in yourself. So it's a message, it's a psychological message, but it speaks volumes. 55% of your communication is nonverbal. As speakers, we need to get that on. We need to be aware of how we're coming across. Okay, so it's showtime. Sophia, any feedback on people with their body language stuff? That's step 6, showtime.
Yeah, we had Taisha say, hand on heart. She finds herself doing that when speaking or consoling.
I love that. So what you're going to find, some of you may be using some of these tools that I'm sharing today naturally. My job is to have you do it intentionally, consciously. Be like, well, I think I asked questions at the beginning. You should know, oh, I asked 5 questions in the beginning. So make sure that when your hand on your heart, that it's when you're saying a juicy message. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. Okay. So this is another one I'm going to spend some time on. Okay, so we've got our dance steps in place. Okay. Now, we're not going to go into specifics. In the objectives, you talked about that you are going to share your information. So I'm going to do a little sidestep here. Are you going to share your 3 ways to help people have financial freedom? Gabriel, can you unmute yourself? What is it that you do right now? Because you're right here. I'd like to find out.
But I'm searching for a job right now.
You're what? You're searching for a job?
Searching for a job, yeah.
Okay,
So
good. You never know on the network.
yeah, I just left a job of 18 years as a VP of program management.
Okay, good. So you're just looking to improve your speaking skills all the way around? Is that right? Okay, good. So here's for everybody, whether you're looking for a job, whether you're doing one-on-one, whether you're speaking, stories sell, facts tell. I work again with a lot of corporate insurance people, and they just want to share facts, facts, facts. Not to say the facts are bad. You need to share some of the facts. But I'm going to go into a little bit more detail because this is the clincher. The clincher is selling stories and visuals. Think about it. For some of my gals, who are my home shopping gals, who watch this QVC, I know some of you think, oh, it's too much, or it feels fake, but it works. I'll even tell you a little story. When my husband and I were on the road, I was doing a lot of speaking engagements. So he would come with me and be in the hotel, and I'd be getting ready early in the morning. And I remember that one time he was just watching like infomercials on TV. And he's like, oh my goodness, darling, we have to buy this whole kitty litter system. It's going to work perfectly. We have to buy it. It's only $19.95. And I'm like, darling, we don't have a kitty. The point is, it works. It's a psychology. We're not being disingenuous. Stories support the point. So in your talk, so this is the story that I want to walk you through. In your talk, you need to, as I say here, introduce your characters. For example, you do not want to do this. Oh, I had a client, she had really low self-esteem. She wanted to start speaking, so I taught her how to do speaking. She's doing great now. Ding, ding, ding. I didn't feel it. I am not a natural storyteller. These are skills that I have learned. So I'm going to tell you a story of, I'm going to call her Dr. Lisa. And what we want to do is I want to take you down the path. So you see here, step one, introduce your characters, the scene with details. So Dr. Lisa was actually a doctor. She was a medical doctor, but she had transitioned into innovative, alternative, holistic coaching, integrative medicine, and she really had a whole passion for that. And she was lovely, and she was she's very attractive. She's like in her 50s. I always feel like she just, the way that she carried herself, she didn't look like a typical doctor. Notice I'm saying how old she is. Notice I'm giving you the color of her hair. She was brunette. She dressed fashionably. I always thought, gee, has a little sash. She always wore high heels. I'm trying to give you a picture of what you look like so it can be real. So that's number one. Number two, what's her pain? What's her pain? She came to me because she said, Heidi, I am in this community all the time. I am doing talks. I give them everything. That's a bad thing. I give away the store. That's a bad thing. I give them so much information. And then at the end, I tell them that like my consult's only $100 and nobody signs up. Nobody signs up. Help. Well, right there, I realized she's giving away the store. We don't need to buy from you if you're giving away the store. It's too much information. And she was being too logical. She would stand up there. She wasn't telling her own success stories. She would stand up there, go right into her bio and all of her information and get right into the nitty gritties of holistic health, but she wasn't engaged in the audience. So with her kicking and screaming a little bit, because she didn't really want to believe me at the beginning, it's too much, but they needed Heidi. I know. But you're actually doing them a disservice by giving them too much because they're not going to come in and see you. They feel full at the end of your seminars. Are you getting it? Give me a thumbs up if you're understanding where I'm going with this. So what I did is coached her and we recreated, it's called a signature talk in the speaking world. And it's a 20 to 25 minute talk that you often can take on the road. Often you do it for free as a way to sell yourself. This 20, 25 minute talk can be stretched to an hour. It can be shrunk to 15 minutes. So she had 80% of the material there, but we cut. She was afraid to interact with the audience. We had to get her smiling. She was still a doctor. She still had like the attractive look, but it's like, hello, got to have that smile. Let me see that smile. Got to have the smile. It doesn't have to quite be as big as my smile. But she was so serious. The credibility, the likability, the connecting with the audience, that's what works. And when we had her create, you just need one juicy story in your talk and a general story. For example, back to Dr. Lisa, if say her audience, they're all people in their 40s. She doesn't want to do a success story about an 80-year-old person. You want to think ahead. You want to create a story that your audience is going to be like, that's me. Is Dr. Lisa's story resonating with you? I'm modeling what I do. This is my success story. Or some of you thinking, I need a little more charisma in front of my audience. Are some of you thinking, ooh, I think I give away too much information. Also, her offer was not clear at the end. At the end, she just said, bye, goodbye. People need to be told what to do. Okay, so Sophia, any feedback, any questions, anyone about stories before I move on?
We had a lot of people say they found that information very valuable. Kara said, people buy on emotions and relate to others with stories. This is excellent information. Good.
Now, social proof. We're going on to step 8. So again, I'm going to do I call the backward crab here, the little dance steps. Step 1, engage your audience. Ask questions. How many of you? Step 2, the purpose of the seminar, the purpose of today. Step 3, here's what we're going to learn. A secret, steps, tips. Okay. How are we going to do it? And then talk about your credibility. I'm degreed. I have a right to be here, talk about your vulnerability, but it wasn't always this way. I used to be like you. Then you're going to share your nuggets, but in the nuggets, you've got to have this. It's like the success story is a floating story. Like create your talk and then know, eek, I have to create that story. Okay. Number 8. This goes back to the QVC home shopping. Social proof. So even though you know as a speaker, you're doing a great job, you've set the stage, I know I'm doing a great job, but we still want to know about those other people. Again, back to QVC. Have you ever wondered, are those fake calls when they call in for testimonials? They're not, they're real. When you're doing a talk, you want to share testimonials, people you've worked with. For example, this is one of my VIP clients, Stacy Garcia. She's one of my clients. She's actually been on QVC. She has her own, she's an interior designer. She owns a couple companies, multi-millionaire and very successful. And I've been coaching her for about 10 years. Every time she does a speaking engagement, she hires me, we work on it. She speaks on a regular basis, has far surpassed me, but what she makes an hour for her speaking, and that's okay. She always wants it to be on point. Carrie Flinton is a speaker. She has a book, Author and Heal. She's in California. You've got to toot your horn, the confidence. And it's just the truth. I'm not bragging, but I want you to know, because here's what's bad. When I was a new speaker, I knew this, that I needed to have a testimonial. And I was at a women's networking event. And there was this girl there, let's call her Susie Q. And Susie Q had worked with me before. And I said, Susie Q, can you do a testimonial for me? And tell me how I've helped you so that people want to work with me. She goes, sure. So she got up on stage and she said, Heidi's really fun to work with. I was devastated because that's not a testimonial. Often our testimonials need to be trained, or you just put it up here, or you go into more specifics, or you help the person if they're in the audience. Can you talk about how I've helped you? Okay. Social proof. That's what it's called in sales. Another ingredient. So here's what I want to hear too, Sophia, from some of you. What are the ingredients right now? We've ate, there's 2 more ingredients, but what are the ingredients that you are learning today that you need to incorporate? Is it the fact that you haven't been opening your talks with questions? Is it the fact that you haven't been sharing stories? I have 2 seasoned speakers that just came to me. They both have the energy, but they're not sharing the stories, and it goes flat. Okay, so I want to hear from some of you. So a couple more bullet points because it's going so fast.
Heidi, I had a quick question before you.
Yes.
We had Jay Bryan ask, can you use testimonials anonymously? He said he's in an industry where he can't put endorsements out there or request them.
Absolutely. You can use it and say, you know what, you can use still the client. You want to set the stage, but you can say, for privacy's sake, I'm not going to use their name, or I'm going to call them Joe Schmo, Susie Q. I had a client once. The point is, as you can see with these stories, it's a 1, 2, 3 punch. It needs to be clear. You need, see, instead of coming right out and saying, I'm great, work with me, which I'm going to do now in step 9, because I've already given you my social proof and I've already given you my success stories. The reason we're doing it is to let you're selling yourself, but within the disguise of a story. So as long as that comes forth, you don't have to use their real name at all. Okay, so you can mesh that, you can let it be known. I'll call him Joe for now, but get the point across. I understand your pain, and I came in as the hero to help. So step 9. See, again, I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm going to tell you my offer for any of you that you want to continue to work with me if you found this helpful, and to show you, to model for you how to do this. Because again, if you just say, I hope you all learned something, goodbye. We have to change our mindset that I'm not sharing my gifts. If some of you are hungry for more and you really want to know step by step, well, I know I need to have a success story, but I need more help in creating it. I know I need stories. I need points. We really didn't cover how do you come up with your points. If you need more, I'm offering the gift. That's where you come from. So write that down. Offer them the gift.
Mm.
They don't have to work with you. It's totally fine. So the question is always to say, if you're interested. So step 9, the offer. So I'm going to tell you my offer and encourage you to have your offer. So present like a pro and get results. So what I'm doing, and I'm doing this because Network After Work, who's putting on this program, encouraged me to have an offer for all of you. So the next 3 weeks, I figured this is a good time since I have so many of you on the line. The next 3 Wednesdays at this time, it'll be from 3 to 4:30, I'm offering a 3-week course. A 3-week course that within those 3 weeks, in the next 3 weeks, if you're hot for this right now, you will walk away after 3 weeks with a talk in place from beginning to end. We do it together. I give you homework in between, but we process it. You've got your questions down, you have your points down, how to support your points, how to tell your success story, and how to create your offer. Today may have been enough for you with the missing pieces. If you want more, I have this class coming up that I would be excited to work with you in a more intimate way. For those of you, if you do take the class as part of a bonus, I do have a downloadable 3-hour audio. So it's downloadable with handouts. I give that to you at the end of the course. So just notice here, please, this is the sales piece I'm going to give you. It's $497. I have to put on my glasses. $497, but I'm offering it at $297 for the first 10 people that sign up. So Sophia can put this in the chat, but it is HeidiAspire.com/10 steps. So, and that's where the dates and registration. It's going to be the next 3 weeks. I'm also recording them. So if you can't make one of the meetings for whatever reason, or if you want to work with me privately, let me know. Again, I'm trusting that a lot of you can put together some of the pieces that we talked about today. Or if you're needing more hand-holding, if you're serious about stepping in to get paid, there's a process. This is just to give you the quick fix that I trust. I want to hear from some of you. Are some of you getting the quick fix here? Sophia, tell me that some people are getting the quick fix here.
Yeah, we have a bunch of questions for you.
Let's hear a couple because we're getting towards the end of our time already.
Okay, let's see. Well, I'm not sure. Oh, excuse me, pronounce this right, but it's Sageb, S-A-G-E-B. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not. Do we need to memorize our speeches? Is it okay to have note cards in front of us?
Excellent, excellent question. So the question is, do we memorize? Do not memorize anything, please. I beg you. Do not memorize. Now, all you need in front of you are a couple of bullet points. When you memorize, I have seen the most polished speakers, they fight me tooth and nail, they memorize, then they forget the word the, and they look up and it's crashed. I've seen so many speakers crash. You need to know your materials. But for example, it should be as simple as just some bullets. I'm just looking to see if I have an example here in front of me, or your PowerPoint, that there's just a couple of bullets, and you can even see here, I want to make sure that I told a story. But if I look down, it just says, tell the story of Suzy Q. That's all I need. So you don't want to keep looking at the cards. And what's interesting and challenging at PowerPoint right now is that, because I'm trying to hopefully that you feel connected, looking at you right in the camera, but it's okay to look down at your notes or if it's a PowerPoint. Also, please notice my PowerPoints are not overwhelming. I work with my insurance people. They put up too much information. It's overwhelming. We tune out. So the short answer is do not memorize. Know your material and only use like 2 or 3 words to trigger you. And if there's a little thing like tell the story of the cat, just a little bit. Okay, we're on our 10th. End with a bang. What's our bang gonna be? So is our bang, so remember what we just did is we sold ourselves, we sandwiched it. Okay, we gave our offer. If you're interested, I'd love to work with you. I have a 3-week class. I'm giving you a discount. Go over there now, sign up the first 10 people. So PayPal will know the first 10 people that you get it for $297. You get me as your coach, and it's a lot of fun, I promise you. Okay, we sold, boom. Now it's a wrap. What's next? What's going to be different? You're here today because you have a whispering inside your soul. There's a part of you, whether you want to create an emotional talk, whether you want to polish yourself as an executive, as a career, it makes a difference. People will judge you on that. And to have a career advancement, if you're working 9 to 5, to have polished skills is so important. And for those of you that are entrepreneurs, if you have a beautiful product or service, it's so important to learn how to sell those services. I have so many more body language tools and techniques and pieces that I want to share with all of you. And I want to stay in time integrity as well. So if you're interested, follow up, or you can also just, and maybe Sophia, you can put this in the chat. Feel free to email me at Heidi Inspire or just Heidi Parr Kerner at gmail.com. Sophia, if you could put that in. If you have more questions for me, I know this is a lot in an hour. And again, I don't want to overwhelm you. Each one of these slides, we could spend an hour on. So I know as a recovering introvert, and this is what I want to leave you with. If there's a part of you that knows that you need to be speaking, trust that. And even if it's not with me, take more courses, but take a course from somebody who's going to live coach you or hire a coach. You do need to invest in yourself, to take the time, take the money, take the energy so that you can make an impact with so many people. I know that's scary. I know that it can be nerve-wracking. And we go over that in the 3 weeks of things that you can do nerve-wise, mindset-wise. But to get your message out there, to make a difference, that's the way to go through speaking. No longer playing small. It's a new year, a new you. We're ending with a bang. I wish I could meet you all live. Please be in touch with me. And thank you so much. Thank you to Sophia. Let's give her a round. Let's give Gabriel, because I can see him around, because he did the Superman pose. And everybody, here's what I want. We did a warm hello. And everybody, please give me a warm goodbye. And hope to see you in my Present Like a Pro class.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Sonia.